My name is Randy. I'm going to be playing some Modern today. More specifically, I'm going to be playing Modern Infect. I'm going to start by going over the Infect list, as well as some past iterations of what I've done and changed and what Modern Horizons 2 has brought. So what you're seeing right here is just kind of like the generic stock list of blue-green Infect. So you have your Infect creatures, you have Glistener Elf, 1/1 Infector, and then Blade Agent, can't be blocked. Also 1/1 Infector, and then of course Inkmoth Nexus. This is the one from Secret Layers, that's why the art looks a little bit different, but again, you pay 1 mana, becomes an artifact creature of flying that has Infect. So these are like your 3 main Infect creatures. They're kind of considered the best or playable Infect creatures that are out there. There are some other ones, but this is generally the 3 that you're going to play. They're going to be what you see against any Infect list almost. I mean, there are a couple of others, but these are what you're going to always see most of the time. Obviously, this is, just like I said, a standard version of what was considered or is considered to be kind of a stock list for Infect. You have your Noble Hierarch, which gives Exalted, which is kind of the whole reason you play Noble. I mean, this deck does like to kind of skimp on lands or tries to play as little as possible, so like the mana ramp helps, but the Exalted is the big factor here. Just being able to chip your opponent in for 2 points of damage at a time or more really helps. For anyone who doesn't know, Infect is a different ability instead of like regular damage. So when you go to attack someone and you deal combat damage to a player, they get an Infect counter instead of taking loss of life or anything of that nature. So they will get 1 Infect counter, and then once you get up to 10 Infect counters, you lose the game. Same way if you were to block a creature within Glistener Elf, they would get -1 counters then instead of taking regular damage. So, as you can see, pretty stock list. Nobles, Blade Agent, Glistener Elf. Spellskite's a card that gets played a lot just because it helps protect your very, very vulnerable creatures. They die to everything but a Stiff Wind in the modern format. And then obviously you play Blasting Defense, which gives the creature +2 and Hexproof. Vines also gives it to where the creature can't be the target of spells or abilities your opponent control. And then this list also plays Groundswell, so it gives it +2/+2, and then Landfall gets a +4/+4. So the big thing that helped out Infect was it used to be really popular. If you go back through Modern's history, it was a really good deck. Cataxian Probe was the main reason why this deck was so good, being able to pay 2 life, look at your opponent's hand, see they have no removal or maybe 1 removal spell, and you can just jam, right? Because you can just play your pump spell, they go to kill it, play your protection spell that also pumps, now they're dead. You don't really have to worry or think too hard or figure out like how to counteract your opponent's hand or know what's going on. Well, Cataxian Probe got banned forever ago, so Infect fell off pretty hard. It came back with Modern Horizons 1 because we got Scale Up, which was a huge boost and probably a card that shouldn't have been printed, but Wizards loves to print those kind of cards. The big thing is that Scale Up gives you the ability to make your creature a 6/4 base power and toughness. So for anyone who's never played Infect or doesn't have any idea what's going on with this deck, there's a card called Pendelhaven, which is you tap for a green land or for green mana, or it adds +1/+2 to a 1/1. So if I was to Pendelhaven my Glistener Elf, make it a 2/3, and then Scale Up, it still keeps that +1/+2, so it becomes a 6/4 base power with an extra +1/+2, so it becomes a 7/6. A lot of people didn't realize that when Scale Up first came out and kind of flew under the radar for a minute until Infect's like, this is what we need to be playing to win. And it gave Infect essentially a two card pump to win the game. So you have Scale Up, which makes it 6 power, and then Mighty Little Crosa, which gives it +2/+2 if you play it if you play the spell at any time. But if you play it during your main phase, it gets +4/+4. 6+4 = 10. That gives you a win. And that's kind of what Infect has been about. This is what they have been doing. Don't mind Apostle's Blessing gets thrown around sometimes, things like that. But this is mostly a stock list of what you would see against Infect is blue-green, taking the least amount of damage from your lands. You have the Water Grove, so you can help cycle through and draw extra cards. You can flood out or someone kills your creature. But that being said, I have come up with a different list for Infect. And this is more or less what I'm going to be trying to play today and going through. But you have all the same, all the same pumps and everything else like that, along with the new cards, Snakeskin Veil. You also have the Vines of Asswood, all the typical pumps, Mighty Will Corrosive to go along with your scale ups. So that way you have the 2-card combo. But the biggest thing we're doing different here is we have Blade Agent, Glistener Elf, of course the Nobles. But now we're also playing the new Hierarch. So now I know this doesn't look like it's good because it adds black or red, which isn't our colors. We're still basically a green-blue deck, push blasting, a little bit of white for sideboard cards and Prismatic Ending. I think that card's underpowered, or sorry, not underpowered, underplayed still. The card's super good, and it's where you want to be, I think, if you're playing in Modern. You can have the ability to play it. But with a Noble Hierarch, we also get another Exalted, so now we're playing 8 Exalted creatures, which also gives us the reason to then play Lurrus as part of our white splash as well. All your creatures are already 2 drops or less, so Lurrus is almost 0 cost to play in your deck. We lose 1 sideboard card for the ability to have something to do extra with our mana and to rebuy our creatures, which is not nothing. But this is the list I'm going to be taking through a league today. Still all the same kind of stuff. You still have Distortion Strike to help get through our Glistener Elf, make it unblockable. We got Blossoming Defense, Snakeskin Veil, Vines of Asswood as our protection spells. We got Scale Up, Mighty Will Corrosive, Mutagenic Growth, and 1 Become Immense as our pump spells. Our Prismatic Ending to remove any pesky creatures that might come in the way or anything that might be stopping us. Of course, our 4 Blade Agents, 4 Glistener Elves for Infect, and the Inkmoth Nexus, of course. And then we have the Nobles to get us there. Without further ado, let's get into our league. Alright, and it looks like we did finally find a match, so let's see what we're playing against here. Alright, so we lost a die roll, pretty typical. As like any good Magic player, we'll be revealing Lurrus because why not, after all? You're not playing Lurrus, are you really playing Magic anymore? Wish our opponent good luck. It looks like they are keeping 7. I think we're going to keep 7 as well. We have 4 lands. It's a little high, honestly, but we have 2 Nobles. So we can start off with, we have a Scale Up to help pump our Inkmoths. We do have an Infect creature they can't take, basically. And then we still have Lurrus for if we flood out even more. So we'll go ahead and keep this. And it looks like they're what? Green light with a bird. Interesting. Let's see what we're up against here. We did draw the Glistener Elf, so I'm going to go ahead and play Pendelhaven first, though, and drop a Noble. There's usually almost never reason to lead off with Glistener Elf. It's almost always kind of a bad move. You kind of want to protect your Infect creatures. So, I mean, with the 2 Nobles, it just makes more sense to play off with Noble. Maybe we can draw a Protection spell, too. That'll make it easier for us. It is Heliod. You know, I have been saying this deck is still good, and I'm surprised I haven't run into it more often. But it's not surprising to see. The good news is, though, we don't really care about Heliod's Infinite Life combo. We can beat it pretty easily as a whole. I mean, we don't care about Infinite Life. We count to 10 and they're dead. So that is kind of a good thing. And then with this, I'm going to play our second Noble and play out a Glistener Elf. And just yield through our turn. We're pretty much all set up. We have 2 Infect creatures. Obviously, Glistener Elf is the worst one here because of our opponent. Maybe we can hope they stumble on lands or whatnot and have to use that Birds of Paradise as a blocker. Also would like to draw a protection spell for our Inkmoth. We got the Scale Up. We need protection, though. And then it's always nice, too, is this Hierarch basically is always going to activate our Inkmoth because we just don't need to do anything else with it. Our opponent has Infinite Life. So, nothing too crazy here. Leaving the bird back to block makes sense. So I think here what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and activate the Ink Moth. And get in there. So we'll attack with Ink Moth, and then with the Exalted triggers we'll do this. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 damage. If our opponent wants to block it, which they probably will. Yep, so we're going to make them use the bird. And then we're not going to crack our fetch land just yet. We'll make it look like we have something maybe, or doing something. We all know we're not. We got 2 more lands and 2 scale-ups in hand. So they need another flyer, though. Otherwise... Alright, they are drawing with Rising Canopy. Probably means they're looking for a protection spell. Or, sorry, for a removal spell at this point, then. Since they are just kind of floundering. They have the infinite life, but they know it doesn't mean anything. Soul's Attendant means they tapped out their white mana, too. So I'm going to go ahead and probably go for it on this turn, then. So we will crack this, try to thin our deck out a little bit. I'm pretty sure any pump spell kills them at this point. Of course, got the land. So let's just do a quick count here. So it's a 1/1, it's going to become base power 6. So that's 6, 7, 8, 9. We can put them to 9, in fact, which is probably good enough. We'll play our Watery Grove. First, tap this, activate. This is also a free attack. There's no way this really ends up hurting us. Because they have a forest open, so it'd be very surprising if it hurt us somehow. So we will pump that real quick. Then cast our scale up. And attack in. So we're going to put them to 9 infect, so they are 1 infect away from dying. And we're just going to pass the turn. End of their turn, we'll probably end up cracking our Watery Grove to draw another card. 21 lands, folks. 21 lands. Oh, they did not find anything. So pretty easy game. Like I said, they had infinite life that whole time. It doesn't matter when you're playing infect. So really good to see that, though. Really nice just to be able to get that game won pretty easily. So against them, let's see here. We don't have a whole bunch for them just because their deck's not super scary. I do think I might put in the 2 spell skites over the prismatic endings. And I'll probably trim the... Where are you? I'll probably trim 1 mutagenic growth for 1 spell skite. Just have a little bit more protection. They do have some removal spells, and they can have more removal spells as well post board. But as it stands right now, I mean, we're looking pretty good. You basically saw the greatness they had. You know, the ideal turn 3, turn 4, infinite life, and we're just like, yep, man, you got infinite life. I'm gonna kill you with infect. So it is always nice to see. That basically, it's kind of like a good reason to play infect. I've actually thought that infect might be on the up and up here later on, depending on how much more Heliod becomes popular, just because it works. I will say this, we could bring in Sony Silence just for their Walking Ballista. Walking Ballista is pretty good against infect. All your creatures are 1/1s or X1s, so it does hurt you. But I don't think that having Sony Silence just to stop that is good enough. Not to mention they have ways to remove our Sony Silence. It's not something that's super hard for them to remove. Maybe Game 3, if it looks like they brought in more artifact hatred towards us, we can bring it in or go something along those lines. But as it stands right now, I don't think we need to worry. There's also a reason for Force of Vigor as well, because it hits Walking Ballista and maybe hits a couple of other artifacts. So we'll see what they bring in for Game 2. We're up a game, so we can afford to sideboard lightly on this one and not take it too seriously, just because it gives us a chance. And I'm going to guess they're going to be on the play again. We'll reveal Luris, because it's the only way to play Magic anymore. And yeah, this looked like a great hand again. I mean, we have double Nobles. I will say Noble has been amazing just having another noble with that extra exalted is always nice. Not to mention we have 2 infect creatures and 2 lands, so we get to go, you know, turn 1 noble, turn 2 noble, or well actually, yeah, we'll probably go turn 2 noble Inkmoth Nexus. We'll see how it goes out, but this hand's just like one of the better hands you can keep. You have, you have threats. Oh, they have the birds. It's always annoying. But we have an unblockable guy, so not too bad. Alright, we picked up a Vines. Very good pickup here. So with that Vines, I do actually think we'll play Inkmoth Blighted Agent next turn, leaving up the Forest then, and keep Vines up for safety. So that way they can't kill our Blighted Agent. So they probably have a good 3-drop here. My guess is they probably have Heliod. I know when I play against Heliod, it seems like they always have Heliod, or you go to Sot Thieves and they'll have 3 Heliods in their hand. Oh, see, they have the Heliod. Alright, let's see what we draw. Pick up a Prismatic Ending. Not a bad card, actually. Now this is good, too, because if they deal with our Blighted Agent, we have a good way to eat the birds for free, essentially. But like I said, I think we're going to go ahead and continue with the Blighted Agent Inkmoth Nexus plan of just putting out 2 Infectors and making them have to have something. Not to mention with this hand too, we can essentially win next turn depending on what they do. Opponent real fast to cast. Casting a birds. Birds not that scary, obviously. Still have another land. Let's see what... Noble, alright. They are mana ramping. So keeping up planes and birds of paradise up. Opponent is attacking with... Yeah, there we go. Just a misclick. Alright, Blossoming Defense makes me feel a little bit better here. I get another good protection spell. So I'm going to go ahead and start by tapping Noble for a scale up. And I don't think we're going to go... Yeah, I should have played Noble. I should have played the Hierarch first, but I think we're just going to poke them for 8 here. See if they do anything. If they do something, we might Blossoming Defense just because that gets to kill them. But here, there's no reason to do anything else. We don't want to try to Blossoming Defense in a turn or in that combat and then blow us out with a Path or something. I know they only have 2 cards, but you don't want to always go for it. I know if you watch other Infect players or if you listen to other Infect players, a lot of times they're always like, you gotta go for it, man. You gotta jam it. That's not the case. Infect is definitely a slow and play game. And then here, this is perfect for us because this is probably their only answer to this card. So we're going to shock. We're going to take a little bit of damage. I think we can afford to in this situation. And I'm going to get the white just in case for some reason this dies. I know we'll lose our access to blue, but we have Prismatic Ending, and that's a good card that we want to be able to use. So we will shock, and then we're going to Blossoming Defense our creature. So that gives it hexproof and +2/+2. So our opponent might just concede here and say, yep, they don't have another removal spell with their last card. So that was a Heliod matchup. Obviously, it's not always that easy. We got lucky here. They didn't have any Walking Ballistas or anything else that can really screw you up. But, I mean, this is the power of Infect. Just you get to play some creatures and just win. Like I said, they had infinite life on game 1 and it didn't matter. Like, we don't care about infinite life, so we get to ignore half of their combo already. And we're not playing a long game with that either. We're like, oh, well, you know, what are the control decks? We don't have to worry about infinite life. Like, well, once we ultimate Teferi and ultimate Jace, and, you know, eventually we'll win, and maybe they can draw out of that situation, right? But when you're putting a clock on them and you don't have to care about half the combo, it just really helps. But that was game 1. It looked like we sideboarded pretty well just with that minimalistic sideboarding and making sure we had our pump spells. Alright, I will see you guys for round 2. Alright, looks like we did find our round 2 opponent. Oh, we get to be on the play, always a good thing when you're playing Infect. Reveal Luris again, because welcome to Modern. Okay, now this is a lot less keepable. 4 lands is a lot with this deck. Like I said, we're only playing 21. You saw us flood out before. We only have 1 infect creature, so if they just go, we go turn 1, fetch land, they go turn 1 discard spell. This hand does nothing, so I think I will go ahead and mulligan it. Alright, this hand is also not that good. This is a problem with infect. I will admit that it does not mulligan the best. But we could keep this hand just because we have Noble Hierarchs and whatnot. We always probably put back a land, probably put back the forest, honestly, just in case of path and whatnot. But I'm not too sure I want to keep this either. Our opponent is not playing a Lurrus deck, so it does give me hope that maybe they're not on a discard outlet deck. But I'm not entirely sure if I want to keep this. I will think that I'm going to mulligan to 5 just to see what we can get. And we have literally gotten worse. Alright, let's go to 4 and just cry. Okay, well, we will keep this 4-card hand. We're going to put back Become Immense because we're never getting to that. Let's see. We got to keep Breeding Pool, Ink Moth for sure. Probably put back one of the Snakeskin Veils. Probably put back both Snakeskin Veils, honestly. We have 2 infect creatures, and this is not the ideal hand, but we are at least not soft to discard at this point. I mean, they're going to take our scale up, and that's not something you care about at this point. Alright, so they are on Inquisition. Alright. Alright, come on, kitty. That's not for you. So we did lose our scale, but hey, at least we get to keep our 2 creatures. And at this point, we're just going to run out Glistener Elf, because they probably have a removal spell, or they probably have another discard spell, and this way we don't have to worry about either. Well, we have to worry about the kill spell, but I mean, if they kill Glistener Elf or not, no one's getting too choked up about Glistener Elf dying. That is a bad thing. I was kind of hoping for a path, just to give me another land, but here we are. So I am going to play this Inkmoth Nexus. The good thing about Magic Online, you can see this is a newly controlled one, so we'll tap that for mana, and then we'll activate the one that has been out for a turn. And we'll go ahead and try to get in there for 1 infect and hopefully get some damage going. Alright, we did get 1 infect. Our opponent maybe not pull the trigger, we'll see. We're going to click through it to act like we are holding up a spell. Hopefully my opponent buys it. They probably did not. They're probably going to be killing. Oh, nope. Okay, they just shocked themselves for no reason. Not sure what their thought process there was, but hey. We'll take a free point damage, I guess. Alright. So they could have Fatal Push, they could not. This game we don't really get the benefit of being the slow deck. Or playing out slowly, so we're going to take the chance and hope that maybe they just aren't sitting on a removal spell. They probably are, but we have another infect creature already. And it's just what we gotta do. I mean, we gotta be aggressive here. We had a mulligan the 4, and you saw that 4-card hand. It was not pretty. Alright, we got to do it. I'm not sure what my opponent's waiting on. In that case, you definitely want to just go ahead and pull the trigger and kill that creature. Again, opponent shocks end of turn for no value. I'm not sure what their thought process is, honestly. Oops. Yield to end of turn, but I'm not sure what they're going for or what they're trying to do, but they certainly have put themselves down to 11 all by themselves. In case you do ever play against Infect, do be afraid of your life total slightly. I know I have killed people with a Noble from 11. It's not that hard. People often underestimate that Noble can do anything, and they don't care about... They'll just swing in and not think about their life total at all. I've definitely taken someone down from 11 life, though, to 0 with just a Noble and some home spells. So just in case you ever play against Infect, do make sure you care about your life total a little bit. I know, like I said, a lot of people have stolen games playing Infect where you just do regular damage because you'll have an opponent like this where they'll fetch shock at the end of turn for no reason. Not sure if my opponent's just lazy and doesn't like clicking buttons or what's going on over there, but they've done 11 points of damage to themselves. I haven't touched them. But I put them to 7 Infect. So hopefully we can maybe draw a protection spell that pumps and get them. That is not what you want to see. Although I do think here I'm just going to play out the land and activate both my Ink Moss. Try to put them down to 1. My opponent has 4 cards in hand and hasn't done anything, so I'm not sure what he or she is waiting on. Oh, we attacked through our main phase. Wow, we are not good today, folks. Not doing too well. We should have attacked for 2. I just skipped through that by mistake. Sometimes you don't play correctly. Do you apologize for that? That might actually cost us the game because we would be swinging for lethal next turn. Opponent is a Death Shadow deck. Mill makes sense now why they were fetch shocking. As the Death Shadow, I haven't seen that list in forever, honestly. Comes up every now and then, but to be fair, I thought that Jund Shadow was kind of decided to be the best deck. Or Grixis Shadow if you wanted that permission effect. I'm not really sure what you're gaining with the Abzan Shadow. I mean, obviously you get the Prismatic Ending here, which is a good card, but Shadow decks have never been really wanting for more removal. They're never like, oh, we just don't have enough removal in our deck. Rust Rebirth. Okay. Interesting. He's going to be casting a Scale Up this turn just so he can search his library for a creature card with a lesser... Alright. He went to get another Death Shadow. Interesting. I don't necessarily think that was worth it by any stretch of the imagination, or good. Like, I mean, I get it, you put another 4/4 onto play, but... I mean, you can make them the 7/7s. Wait, a 14, I guess, but... Alright, well... Well, folks, let's see if we can squeak this one out after misplaying last turn, because we are super good at Magic here. Let's, not skip our attack phase here. Whoops. Not skip our attack. See if our opponent does anything. I'm going to go for it. I know this puts me to dead if they have something, but if they have something, it is what it is. We also won't get a 4. Like I said, really misplayed. Oh my goodness, we stole that game with a maul to 4, folks. I'm going to guess my opponent just did not draw anything, or was flooded out perhaps. Alright, against the Death Shadow deck though, you definitely want Veil of Summer. Veil of Summer is always a good card, and probably Spellskite is also what we're going to want. Going to trim on a Mutagen Growth, not really the best card. It's honestly just as a one of here. Kind of trying out just another free pump spell every now and then. But I do think I'm also going to cut Comments just because they're running the Voidwalker. Comments kind of gets harder to cast when you can't delve away 5 cards. Well, let's see what else do we have that we really just don't care for in this matchup. Let's see here. I do think that we'll go ahead and cut. Probably cut one of our nobles, just because, as well as probably actually just 3 cards is probably actually good enough. Maybe you don't want that second Spellskite at all, but go ahead and submit this and see what's going on. I do think that we have that extra prismatic. Yeah, so we have the extra prismatic ending to add in and another Spellscape. We really need to. I do think cutting a noble is good here just because, again, 2 nobles, a lot of land. I'm going to go ahead and mulligan this one again, just so we can have it. Looks like our opponent decided to keep 7. Never a good sign here. Okay, this is honestly a great keep for 6. probably throw back one of the scale ups just because it's easier to do. Go ahead and put that to the bottom and see what our opponent is going to be doing. I'm going to guess turn 1, nothing. Alright, I was going to guess a discard spell, but I've been wrong before. Okay, Wooded Foothills, great land to go ahead and get. Go ahead and get a probably blue-green source here. Don't have any white cards we need to care about, and we have that wonderful creature, Blighted Agent, that we always like to cast. Interesting. Okay. Opponent with the turn 2 do nothing still. Kind of curious on what my opponent kept as a 7-hand, but alright, always good. We'll go ahead and lead off with an Inkmoth and draw our Noble. Always nice to have a little Noble. She puts in too much work, folks. She needs to retire. She is too strong. But, I mean, now with just the Inkmoth, Noble, and we have the Pendlehaven too, we're going to be able to attack for 3 a turn without doing anything, basically. And making our opponent have to commit 2 more to the board. Alright, opponent has decided to crack their fetch land and shock. Also cracking the other one. They got a turn 3 play. Maybe it's Liliana, since they aren't playing Luris. My guess is they're probably playing Liliana in the deck. I don't know if Liliana is worth not playing Luris over, but hey. Maybe Luris isn't the best creature in Modern. Nope, Prismatic Ending, okay. And a Grief. What they exile for that? A Grief exile, a Grief. Alright. Alright, this is their turn, folks. This is what they're gonna be doing. They're playing Grief instead of Luris. I don't think that's correct. I wonder if they're... no, they can't be trying to do the combo, can they? Or, well, combo. They can't be Ephemerate and Grief, can they? We'll find out, I guess. I do think that's way too greedy for a Death Shadow deck. And kind of off point of what you really want to be doing with Death Shadow as well. But we will find out. They took our scale up, not surprising. One of our best pump spells. And, oh, okay. Rush Rebirth, interesting. So they're going to be able to get a 3-drop or less. And then we'll see what they get off of that. But I'm kind of curious. Not really sure why I haven't in. Ah, okay. Well, this is Symbol. So I don't know if anyone has talked about this yet. I know I haven't. But they changed all the Infect creatures to Phyrexian and then the rest of their title. So now you can just name Phyrexian with Plague Engineer and hit all our Infect creatures. So that is going to be challenging. We did draw this, so this is going to be able to get our white source for us. We are a little bit dead in the water. So I do think that going into Game 3, we'll probably bring in the Dismember and probably Prismatic Ending, because I did forget about Plague Engineer. A little bit of a nombo on my part. Taking 2 here, we'll go down to 16 after this. Get our white source and hopefully draw a Prismatic Ending here soon, so that way we can play this game again. Okay, still not drawing Prismatic Ending. We probably only have about another 1 or 2 turns to where we really need to draw this. We'll play our Inkmoth, yield through the turn, and hope that we can get somewhere. But I'm thinking we're going to be going to a Game 3. We get to be on the play for Game 3, though, so that will help us out a lot. We'll probably trim a Vines of Vasquez as well. It doesn't look like they're running a whole bunch of removal. I haven't really seen too much. Alright, with that, I'm going to wrap it up just because I need to now find 2 more cards, and yeah, we were not getting there at all, folks. Okay, so that's on me, my fault. I will definitely bring in the Dismember and probably another Prismatic Ending. Go ahead and trim 1 Vines of Vastwood just because it is a little bit harder to cast. with the double green, and I'm probably going to trim a distortion trick as well. Alright, let's hope that we can get somewhere with this. Be nice to be 2-0 on the day. Just waiting for our opponent to come in or come back. Alright, we would like to be on the play. Hopefully we can do something here good with that. Reveal our lures, maybe one day we'll cast it. Alright, this hand is perfect if we had green mana. So we'll go ahead and mulligan that away. We will go ahead and keep this just because it is overall not too terrible. Well, it is actually, because we only have one creature and we know they play discard spells. The rest of the hand is really good though, because we could discard this, might have 3 lands, be able to have our white, blue, and green. But I don't know if I really want to take that risk. They chose to mulligan to 6 as well, so maybe. I do think we will keep this a little bit on the play. It's a little risky, but we'll see what happens, right? We didn't come here not to make choices. We play Tron if we were doing that. So we'll play the Wooded Foothills first. Hopefully maybe make them think twice about discarding a... Okay, they're going with Street Wraith Cycle. So they're also playing Street Wraith as well. Okay. What is this? Grixis Death Shadow? Alright, alright. So we'll get our white land here. Temple Garden. Put that into play tap. No reason to take unnecessary damage. Inkmoth Nexus. Alright, that makes me feel a lot better drawing that card. So we'll go ahead and run out the Blighted Agent. If it dies, that's fine. We now have another creature to actually be okay with. They'll probably kill it in a turn. No killing in a turn. That is huge for us. I think my opponent might have kept a 6-card, 1-land hand with 2 Street Wraiths, hoping. Nope. Okay, they found the second land. I was kind of hoping that we would be able to have them be land screwed for a second. Give us a couple more time. But I'm not sure what my opponent's playing here. Turn 2, they got all 3 colors. Prismatic Ending. Alright, alright. Cool. Well, we will go ahead and play our Noble, play our Inkmoth, Yoltsu through turn. See what they're going to be doing. They got 6 cards in hand going into this turn. Maybe a little tap out for something. Let's get a free, what, 5, 6 points of damage? We can hope, right? Alright, we were prepared for this, thankfully. Because they're definitely going to name Phyrexian. Alright, we're going to go ahead and play this, and we'll get white, blue, green. Get your shit out of here. Go ahead and activate our Inkmoth. Still get in for 2 points of damage. Still good. Now if we could stop drawing land, we'll be doing good here. But really nice just to have that removal spell here. One of the main reasons really why I kept this hand was that removal spell plus our creature. Alright, well we're going to lose my Volcrosa. So we really need to draw some better cards here. The 5-land card, or 5 lands is not what you want to see here. Double Death Shadow also not really what we want to see here either. So let's hope we can get something here. Well, Thoughtseize Bug, we thank you. Ooh. Go ahead and do that. Put 6 points of damage on them. They knew about the land, so no reason not to play it. And then they can get themselves up to 7/7s just by the silent clearing. So I'm not sure what else they have in their hand. I know it looks like they don't have a removal spell. So we'll see what we have, but hopefully we'll be able just to swing for lethal next turn without trying. Oh, this is... Okay. We're happy with that, because we still have lethal on board now. So I'm not sure what they're going to get. Maybe another Death Shadow and just hope that we miss it? But yeah, I mean, I don't know what their last card in hand is, I guess, because they have one more card in hand, so... But I think we have a win, despite our terrible misplays last games. I think my opponent is slowly realizing they are dead on board, because I don't need to play any pump spells here to make my guy bigger. Oh, okay, okay. Is this going to be able to... So they can put themselves down to 2, so... I see. So let me see. So I do have to block, because with Hex Parasite they can go ahead and put themselves down to 2. So they are trying to win. Yep. Because if not, I'll take 24 damage then. Or 22 damage, I'm sorry. I'm going to crack the Windswept Heath just to get one more land out of my deck. Go with this. If we draw one of our nobles, though, I mean, how many nobles do we still have left in the deck? We cut 1, so 6 nobles still left in the deck. Not too shabby. Yeah, because yeah, they're gonna they have to sacrifice that. Hex Parasite did his end, folks. Hex Parasite did his end. We did have 6 draws. You know, no, because yeah, it takes 3 to put Lurrus into our hand. Yep, they got us. That is unfortunate. But hey, we'll see what we can... Alright, looks like we have found an opponent for round 3. Let's see what they're playing against. Oh, we lost the die roll. Never a big surprise. Opponent is in the tank about whether or not to play first. Nope. Looks like they decided. We'll reveal Lurrus as always. Alright, this is a different hand overall. So I do think that this is one of those rare times where we'll keep it. So we get to keep our 7 for once. Opponent decided to choose first. They kept 7. We will also keep 7. Or play first, sorry. See what we're up against. Not a Lurrus deck. Affinity. Old school. I know Affinity is starting to make a comeback. Wow, real Affinity with Frogmite and everything. Alright, well, Glycerin looking worse and worse. Oops, let's not try to cast our Mighty Volcorsa. Okay, well, we're going to go ahead then and for sure start off with Breeding Pool and Noble. If we can tap our stuff, we'll be doing good today. The good news is Affinity either kills you super fast or they flounder a lot. So let's see what our opponent is doing. Really comes down to if they have their equipment or not on how well they do. They got the Blink Moth, so they have a blocker for our flyer. Nope, they have the living weapon, so that is awful scary. We'll take the 2. Distortion Strike, really good draw here. We're going to go ahead and play out our 2 creatures and go from there. If we draw another land, honestly, it'd be perfect. If we draw another land, we actually just win because we get to go 4, 8, 9, 10. Oh, this is our cat, ladies and gentlemen. Very needy. Very needy. Oh. 7 mana, 2/2, draw 2. Modern, ladies and gentlemen. This is modern. Alright. Yeah, we are really baking hard on drawing the land. Okay, cat. I'm sorry, kitty, but can't do that right now. Okay. Opponent is going to be alpha striking, it looks like. So, I mean, we're just going to block. There's no reason not to, right? Just, yeah, just a 9/9. Okay, yeah. Block. And land one time. So it looks like we're going to have to play our Noble. We'll go ahead and Distortion Strike. This has Rebound, so we'll come back at the beginning of the next upkeep. And we'll just get in there for 4, and then next turn we can kill him for sure as long as we are still alive. So we will throw away our Noble, no problem here, because we have more than enough damage in our hand. So we just have to hope our opponent is not sitting on anything amazingly good. Even if they're sitting on a removal spell, we can still win because we can activate Ink Moth in response to the rebound. So, excuse me, opponent digging for 2 more cards, not really good for us. Okay, so we could, depending on what my opponent has and such, we might still be okay. My opponent's deep in a tank though, so that's usually a good sign that they either think they can either kill us or they think that they're dead. So hopefully it's the latter and I think they're dead. Opponent realized they have flying creatures. Fuck. Oh, that doesn't kill me. Now it kills me. Oh, we're super dead. Okay. We're just gonna see. We're not gonna hope they misclick through something. Okay. Well, we do have Sony Silence for this exact problem. So probably bring in Sony Silence and some Force of Vigors. We could probably cut the Prismatic Ending because we can just Force of Vigor it. As well as we're going to cut 1 Vines of Vastwood and the Mutagenic Growth. And this seems like good. Alright, let's be on the play, see what happens here. Reveal Luris again. Yeah, this hand is awful, honestly. 5 lands is terrible because we'll draw more lands. It always happens. No Infect creature. Go to 5. We got Infect creatures and such, so we'll keep. Gotta put back 2, so Snakeskin. Actually, I'm going to put back Boston Defense Might and lead off with an Ennoble. Oh, oops, wrong one. Okay. This is where we'll draw our Stony Silence, though, guys, because we have no white mana. Opponent dumps their hand. Let's see what our opponent has. Land. 4/4. We'll take 3. Cool. 2 free points of damage in. They are out of cards in hand. Okay, so 6, 7, yep. So we'll give that Pendlehaven, and we'll scale it up. Then Distortion Strike it. Yep, and then we'll attack in. Okay, let's go to game 3. We were able to steal that game. I like the sideboard. I don't think there's anything else to add. Let's see what we got. Reveal Luris. One day we might even cast Luris. Wouldn't that be crazy, folks? I'm going to keep this. We can play Stony Silence. We have Glistener Elf plus the Distortion Strike to help us. So we'll see what's going on. My opponent has mulligan to 6. Got 6 cards though. Opponent's got a little bit of a slower hand, alright. If we get to draw a land, we can slam Glistener Elf and Stony Silence. Oh, this is going to feel so good, guys. Oh, gets better. So we're going to slam the Stony Silence first, because we just turn off their lands. Opponent might be conceding. Oh! Stony Silence, folks. It does work. Alright, we will take that. And we will be back for round 4. Alright guys, we did find a match for round 4. Let's see what we're going to be playing against. Played against a wide variety of decks today. Honestly, nice to see Modern so open. We will go first because we won the die roll. We'll reveal our lures as always. You know, have not run into anyone else playing Companion. Kind of surprising. Alright, so this is a sketchy keep on 7, just because we only have 1 infect creature. We do have a bunch of protection to keep it and become to pay us off for protecting our creature. We are, you know what, we're going to try to keep it, see what happens. We got all our colors. So I think I'm actually just going to not play this, and I'm going to hope to dodge a discard spell instead of a removal spell. Mother effer. Playing against Affinity again, folks. Not what I expected to see. 2 matches in a row, but okay. Well, we'll make sure to play that and then keep open this. Alright, we're definitely going to need to find a flyer or one of our unblockable creatures. Well, our blocks are not on one of ours, our only one. Oh, my opponent has a fast clock. This is not good for us. We're going to put a counter on this. Just so we can eat it. It makes his stuff smaller. Gets rid of one of his creatures, and it lets us attack in. One, two, okay, cool. So we're going to attack in, because I don't know if he's going to block or not. If he doesn't block, it's good for us. Opponent decides to snap block. Cool. But right now we're only taking 4, depending on what he plays. Okay, so 5. Or no, this is an enchantment, not a. That is motherfucking scary, folks. We are not looking good right now. The good news is, though, I think we are going to be able to still win this just off of scale up vines. Oh, my opponent did not attack. That is interesting, to say the least. Okay, I think we just attack in, right? Because 4 is greater than 6. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and attack in. Cast with the kicker. Eat their creature, play our land, pass the turn. So they do have a chance to make a blocker. Oh, they found another land too. Making a blocker now, interesting. I would have waited. Oh, they're just going to try to clip it, that's why. Alright, folks. I think it's going to be time. We're going to have to kill our other vines and then put lures into our hand. This way we at least trade. Notably, we cannot cast slurs yet. Making another construct, getting a 1-drop. Probably gonna get either or one of the last. I'd probably get a creature, honestly. That would be my guess. Yep, getting Earth After makes sense. Alright, well, opponent probably bested us because we could not draw. Yep, okay. Alright, let's go to game 2. Good thing is we do know how to sideboard for this game already, so we'll bring in Force, 2 Sony's. Go ahead and take out Prismatic Ending. 1 Mutagenic Growth. And probably actually gonna cut a Snakeskin this time. And hope that we can do better, right? Be nice to be able to 4-1 this league instead of 3-2 it. But we shall see what we get. Yeah, we would like to be on the play. Reveal lures again. Alright, there is 0 creatures. We're going to mulligan that. Pretty easy mulligan. We'll keep this one. Probably throw back Blossoming Defense. Keep Destroyer Strike. Just because we draw another Infect creature, it's going to be great to get through. Or even help our flyer get through. Probably lead off with... Probably going to shock myself with Noble. Opponent is on the tank on whether or not to mulligan 6. But I definitely want these. I'll probably keep Vines. Yeah, I'll probably keep Vines because it gives us the biggest pump, and we have, you know, activate, pump here alone. So opponent deep in the tank. Must be an almost keepable hand. Maybe missing a land or something. Chose to keep it. Alright, we're going to keep our 6. Like I said, we'll put back the Blossoming Defense. And I do think I'm changing my mind. I'm going to play Noble Hierarch with the Forest. Definitely want to get our Inkmoth Nexus down next turn. That gives us the fastest chance to actually start applying damage and applying pressure. Did the opponent have a 0 drop they forgot about? Oh, they have a bobble. They're probably going to bobble us on our upkeep. My guess they are setting that stop. Yep. There's the bobble activation, so they know we drew a Tumble Garden. Cool, cool. I'm going to go ahead and tack in for 1. There is no harm in doing so, and maybe our opponent does some stupid stuff, and we have to get in there with Noble to finish off the game. Then we'll keep this up just because for some reason they have a way to destroy our Inkmoth. Oh, they have an Inkmoth of their own. Oh, but they're tapping it for a drum. So we do need to worry about getting destroyed by Inkmoth Nexus ourselves. Alright, opponent is going off, but no payoff so far. Got a little bit of flood going on here. So I do think I just want... Yeah, I think I just want to attack for tail. Overall, I think that's going to be my best line of attack here. And we'll see if our opponent has something maybe at the end of the turn to try to trip me up. It does not look like it. So probably getting... Ooh, excuse me. Probably going to get a breeding pool then with the Windswept Heath. Opponent has 4 cards in hand. What do they got? Cradle Plating. That's a good one. So notably though, they cannot equip, activate and equip with Inkmoth yet. Looks like they're just going to attack in for 3. Leave 1 back. I'm not sure what the... Oh, they have to. They have to activate the Inkmoth, so they have a blocker. Not like to pay 2 life. Okay, well... We were going to do some other stuff, but this is much better. We'll just go ahead and Stony Silence. because now they can't equip clay plating. And if they want to activate Inkmoth Exodus, they have to do it now with the Spring Lake Drum. Or they have to at least float the mana now. No, not new. Float the mana now. So we'll see. We'll see what they're gonna do. I mean, it's all up to them. But I do think we're gonna be able to win this game too. Game 3 is where it's gonna come down to. But Affinity's picking up a lot more popularity than I expected. I guess people are probably just happy to play the deck again. That deck did die as soon as Mox Amber, or Mox Amber. Oh, such a bad card. Mox Opal got banned. So like that kind of was the final nail in the coffin for this deck. So I guess being able to be alive again is probably nice for the deck. Okay, cool. So he did decide to go ahead and activate it. So I'm going ahead to activate mine as well. But I'm going to Distortion Strike it. And attack for 3. So it puts him to 5 Infect, and then we have Vines to kill him next turn. Since we can activate with the Distortion Strike on the stack. And they have 1 land? 2 lands now. The Riverwood was probably a good draw for them, honestly. But they're probably beating in for 3, because, I mean, their Memlites aren't doing anything else. Cool, so we're going to go ahead and activate Inkmoth with the Distortion Strike trigger in the stack. Target my Inkmoth. Then... Wow, we have drawn so terribly this game. So this is 3. Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll probably just end up going for it. See if they have anything. Oh, they do not. Okay, cool. All right, yeah, that was pretty solid. Distortion Strike proving its worth yet again. Card is good. Do not ask Infect players though; they'll tell you to cut it down to 1 or 0. Because Glistener Elf, you know, is always so bad by itself. You know, this is a 1/1 that it doesn't have any effects. You really want Distortion Strike in your deck. That being said, I do think I can see playing some Prismatic Endings here, just because they help exile some problematic artifacts. But I do think this is the 4 we have. The 4 spells we have now are good. I do think that you don't have to play Lyris in this deck. I think it's just a free sideboard slot as it stands. This is 5 lands, which is kind of problematic, but I will keep it, I think, just because we have good pump spells. We have a fetch land to get rid of, to activate beginning, be able to unstep. Looks like they got a good start going on. No creatures noticeably, though, so they are going to know my draw step, I'm guessing. Turn off my upkeep stop. Yep. Alright, well, I'm going to go ahead and do that then. and see what they got going on. Heal to end step. Notably, they can't make a thingy. Well, I guess they can. Never mind. I'm dumb. They just always have a 0-drop creature, Andy. Come on. Come on, guys. Silly goose. Alright, so I'll play my Inkmoth Nexus and pass turn. We are definitely a little worried. So I'm guessing they're probably going to make another 5/5, which turns into a 6/6. Because that's a fast clock, and that's good. Let's see if we can. If we draw a Mighty Corrosa, though, we could be doing pretty good. Yeah, they're making another 5/5, which is a 6/6. That hurts a lot. Okay, so we desperately need to find something. We need to find a might, or sorry, not a might. We need to find a Force of Vigor this turn. Force of Vigor one time. Wow, we would have had the win this turn if it wasn't for Death Needle. Okay, so we're gonna have to chump block and hope and pray. Yeah, we're just probably gonna have to concede at this point. We'll take our draw step, but I don't think it matters. I mean, this happens, but it does suck. I do think that this deck can beat Affinity, but not always. Alright. Yeah, we were not going to get what we needed. So we are 2-2 with the deck. I do think the deck is good overall. Let's see what we get in round 5. Alright. We found our match for round 5. Let's see what we're going to be playing against. Oh, we won the die roll. Always nice. And again, no companion from our opponent. Interesting. Hey, this hand is great if we're playing Hearthstone. Since we are not, let's go ahead and mulligan that. Again, the traditional problem with Infect, not having an Infect creature. Let's go down to 5. We got 2 Infect creatures, 1 land. We'll go ahead and keep this. Let's get rid of Mutagen Growth and Mighty Corrosa. So since we wanted to really hit our second land, I'm not going to play Elf on turn 1. I'm not gonna crack my fetch land until my next turn either. Mono Blue Island, go. Interesting. Okay, well, with that being the case, I'm going to go ahead and crack. Learn how to tap my lands and play Glistener Elf. Because they're not going to be able to counter this with 1 blue mana. Gonna Vapor Sand me? Nope. Merfolk? Merfolk? Fish kill? Probably Merfolk with that name. Alright. Let's get Infecty. My guess is they're Merfolk though with Island Waterlog Grove, but could be wrong. They are Merfolk. Alright. Force negation. Attack for 3. We're just going to try to put as much damage on our opponent as possible. They will outrace us and win. In most cases, they have a bunch of lords and just compounding effects that do not help against us. We are looking at 2 green spells with 1 green mana. Probably a lord if I had to guess, or yep, lord. So attacking us for 2. So then we will cast a Sorcerer Strike on Cluster Elf again. Okay, so this is 3 damage, puts in the 7. I think I'm just going to, or actually, 7, 8, 9, no, 7, 8, 9, yeah, I'll put some 9. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go to combat. See if they have anything. No, I'm going to try to Snake Veil. Put a counter on it, basically. So we put a counter on it, then we can attack for 4 here, put on an 8, and we have dead next turn with just Blink Bot. Oh my gosh! With this Blighted Agent. So we gotta see what they can do this turn. I'm sure they have a 1-drop to put into play, so we're probably looking at 2, 4, 5, 6. Alright, well that's a good one. That's really glad that we have them now dead on board. So they have a way to answer our Blade Agent. It's gonna be bad, but as it stands right now, we might have sneaked this game out. But let's see what our opponent has here. Playing another Lord is my guess. If they have double Lord, was that 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, so 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Even double Lord doesn't kill us, so we might be okay. Nope, just Silver Go Adept. Revealing Lord of Atlantis. So that does not kill us. I guess as they're trying to draw maybe for Dismember if they have it in the main deck. Yep, they tap for green. They need to tap for blue. So there's probably the Lord of Atlantis. So that's 3, 6, 9. Oh, I know what they have. They have to have one card in particular. If we draw a land, we might... Okay, nope. Okay. They needed the Trickster Merfolk. That was their only draw for that game is Trickster. But we drew a land and they didn't do it during our main, like our upkeep. We could have still got around it. So we play our land. They tap that. We respond by playing Bossing Defense on this. They sacrifice. We pay the 1. We have another land to pay the other 1. But none of that happened. But that was kind of our only outs there. All right. So against Merfolk, I'm gonna say we just want the 2 removal spells. I don't. Mystical Dispute's one of those cards where like I really want it if they don't have like they just have Vial and 4 Cavern. So if they just go Cavern or Vial, Mystical Dispute does not do nearly enough against them. Same thing with Veil of Summer. Like they have the Force Negations, but it's not always worth it. I mean, let's see what we want to take out. We want to take out Mutagenic Growth for sure. Probably cut Vines. Honestly, I think I want everything else. I think I just want to get some removal spells in here. We still have one more game, so we'll see, but I think we can be okay with this. This hand is trash, though. We have 5 lands, 2 pump spells. This is easy mulligan. Okay, this is a little harder. We probably still keep this. I'm probably going to put back Distortion Strike and keep the rest. That was almost bad. So we'll put back Distortion Strike. So then we have turn 1 Noble into turn 2 these 3. We're gonna go Ink Moth, Blade Agent, hold up. We don't have any pump spells, but we can hopefully get there. And I'm not sure what all they would have sideboarded out. I'm kind of hoping they sideboarded out Spreading Seas, but I can also see them keeping it in. And turn 1 Crypt Catcher. Okay. Yield to Unstep because I don't give a crap about that. That land is a great draw because it helps us fix our colors later. Then we can yield through this turn and yield to the end step. How it goes. But this is not a Lord. We'll probably be pretty happy, honestly. Opponent's in the tank. Not sure if they want to play a Lord or what. Silver to go Adept is probably the other card they're thinking about. Or maybe they're thinking about just going for Spreading Seas, which honestly, if we see Spreading Seas now, probably be pretty great because we just get to go Ink Moth, tap their Spreading Seas, White Agent, hold up Dismember. Nope, okay, it's a Lord. We're going to take 2. That's a good spell. So I think I'm still just going to not tap that. I'm going to tap blue, colorless, or blue-green, doesn't really matter. Blade Agent and go through my turn. But it's kind of been a close game. The good news is we have Prismatic Ending that we can play on this next turn for 2, and if he counters it, we can have the colorless to tap for it. Or even another green. I'm going to go ahead and Dismember here. I want to see if he has, if he's going to counter with his Crypt Catcher, or if he's going to counter with a spell from his hand. Okay. that's fine. Tap red or green. Okay. That's annoying, but we can get around it. Gonna go to 9 here, get a white. I'm gonna get rid of the Lord though. See if his last 2 cards are Force Negation, blue card. Which I don't know. I don't know if he keeps Force Negation in. Like, it's one of those times where like Force Negation is kind of good to keep in against us, but at the same time, it's not that great. Wow, he did keep the Force Negation in, exiling Tidesaber. Okay. They did have that. Alright. So with that, though, we're going to go ahead and attack him for 7. And they get attacking back for 5. Kind of hope they just draw nothing. We can win next turn. But okay, so they got a redraw. Which they're definitely going to be, yep, that's a redraw. So we'll see what they drew. So it's either nothing or Merfolk Trickster. It's the only 2 options it really is. Alright, and oh, that's such a good draw. Okay, cool. So green, green. Yeah, okay, that's it. We were able to 3-2 with Infect. Like I said, pretty good little run. We did lose, you know, to Affinity and such. Let's go ahead and oops, if I could click the right way, there we go. Go ahead and see what we got with our 1 treasure chest. Probably nothing good. 10 play points. Terrible card doesn't see play. Always good, Wizards. Always good. But that is the list that I ran. Like I said, this was my take on what I think Infect's going to go to. I really liked this list with having Prismatic Ending just answers so many problematic things. The sideboard obviously is always going to be changing and going around depending on what's in the meta. I really like having 8 Hierarchs. I think that they did a lot of work. Having a free point of damage with your Blade Agent is so huge in this game when you're playing Infect. And then I like our pump spells and whatnot. I do think I want to change the 1 card, whatever it is. But yeah, I do think I want to change like maybe 1 or 2 cards. But like I said, I like this list. I like the Ink Moss. I really think that Yawamaya is a great addition to this deck. You saw it in the last matchup. Ink Moss Nexus being able to tap for green was huge. Because even if they had, you know, counterspell, let's say, for the Vines of Ashwood, we had the Snakeskin Veil to make our creature into a 3/3, essentially with Noble Hierarch. If there's any questions you guys have, leave a comment below. Like if you enjoyed the video or not. Any comments or any concerns that you want to express to me, I'll always read the comment section and see what you have to say. But as for now, that's it for this one. I'll probably be doing a lot more leagues with Infect and doing some more videos on that. Also, probably going to touch bases on a lot of other decks I just think don't get any kind of love or attention that they deserve as far as I'm concerned. But let me know if there's any deck you want to see me play or any deck you want to see get talked about that doesn't get enough love in your opinion.